Give me a.
A little bit of a late start. Hey, it's Fugitive Watch. Mark Hinch with Steve Verdeen, both retired police officers. Going to look at some of the stories featured at fugitive.com. We're missing Scott today. He's on a plane. What do you say to him, Brad? By now, don't worry, Scott. What?
It'll all be fine. He's freaking out now because his flight is delayed, and but he's on his way to do the, what do they call that? La Vida Loca or La Dolce Vida, something like that.
Don't worry, Scott. It'll all be fine.
He's on his way to visit a super volcano in Italy.
Yeah,
and then he's going to visit another super
years
volcano
except the day he shows up.
He's rolling the dice.
Yeah. Cool.
He's got a death wish.
That's right. Yeah, we're just talking school's coming to an end. My kids are coming back from college. I think the last couple of days now. They're starting to come out. So it's going to be an active summer. We're going to just go over a few cases. Thank you for watching us. We're at fugitive.com and also YouTube, obviously. It's probably you're watching, and Facebook. And let's see. I know it works because the feedback was going through my earpieces. The title credits are on there. And I realized I need to shut that down on my end. But so, Steve, as you saw, we got a bunch of stories on here. One that I wanted to start with, though, is the Highway Patrol one, because I know a little bit about this, but the Highway Patrol has a new patrol vehicle, and this is kind of cool. And you would think that this would have happened a long time ago, but sorry guys, I'm just getting the screen up here. So the new Highway Patrol vehicle is kind of a dark gray. What do they call it? They call it the polar bears are the white ones.
The white ones.
And these new ones are called what, Steve?
I've been calling it the black bears. The polar bears and the
black. They're more like gray.
The gray bears.
Let's watch this story, and we'll let's see if we get the right one here. We'll go through it a little bit. Let's
okay. I have a couple of questions I want to ask you, Mr.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Tonight, a KTVU exclusive, as the face of traffic control in California is about to change. The CHP is introducing what it calls a new breed of police car and patrol car, one the agency says was designed to blend in with the rest of us. KTVU's Henry Lee was the only reporter in the state to get a close-up look at these vehicles and talked one-on-one with the man who leads the CHP.
You might hear but not see the California Highway Patrol's new patrol cruiser until it's too late.
This is our new 2024 Dodge Durango specially marked patrol vehicle.
CHP Commissioner Sean Dury gave KTVU an exclusive first look at the vehicles at the CHP Academy in West Sacramento.
They have a 360-degree concealed state-of-the-art light package that really, it's hard to detect until the lights come on.
Drivers may be more familiar with CHP cruisers like these Dodge Chargers. The Durangos are a different breed, though.
The idea and the purpose of this is to go out and blend in with traffic a little bit so we can seek out and apprehend these aggressive and reckless drivers.
Yeah, so
how many stars does he have on his car?
The commissioner's got like 4, I think. So you got chiefs, you got assistant chiefs, and then you have a commissioner, right?
Yeah.
You have assistant commissioners and commissioner. So you would think that, it's illegal for cops to do in California to do basic traffic enforcement as their daily job without an unmarked patrol car. I mean, you can't go out and enforce traffic in a totally unmarked car. It has to have markings on it.
That's what I was going to ask you, because I know years ago they had to make a pass a special law because I thought the chippy cars had to be marked.
Yeah, they have to have high contrast lettering up against the colors have to contrast one another, and I think this meets the standards at a minimum. So I think it's kind of cool. What they did is they looked at that law and they created, okay, they really you're really having to define high contrast at this point, but it is. I mean, you can see the image against the paint of the car, and maybe it's a matter of perspective, but unless someone challenges the law, it should be fine. I'm sure they've already done their testing and they can prove that the contrast is enough. But this is great. I mean, I was just driving the other day and you see it more and more. You see these vehicles that are zigzagging out of traffic, using the shoulder to pass, zooming by at 100 miles per hour on the inside lanes.
Terrible driving.
Like that. Yeah. And when you're in a patrol car and you see that and you get lucky enough to see that going on, it's great. You can hunt them down and usually pull them over and take care of things. But you're also very visible too. And so this is a great way where they're going to be able to blend in more. Basically, all the guys driving like assholes are going to be looking for Dodge Durangos in their back window. And any Dodge Durango, right, is going to be.
When I was with the sheriff's office, Mark, all our patrol cars, I worked the east side, had the light bars, right? And we had one patrol car that was a flat top with no light bar that was specifically supposed to work traffic in Cupertino on the west side. And a couple times I got to take it out on the east side, and oh my God, I couldn't believe the things I saw with that flat top.
Yes,
it was like having it was like being invisible.
Right. Just in your case, there was no like a slick top, right? So
right, yeah, no, it was still a marked car, but right. It just had the little red light. The spotlight was a red light, and it didn't have a light bar. It was a flat top.
Right. They're up at the West Sacramento Academy. If you ever been there, that's the high speed track where all the CHP cadets are taught high speed driving, and but it's exciting. I have friends across the state, and most of the major offices have always picked up at least one, if not a couple of these vehicles at this point. And I'm unsure of how many they're actually going to put out. I think 400 statewide, but I mean, are they going to make this half the fleet eventually, or what? I'm not sure what's going on.
Oh yeah, 400 when you spread them out of the state. That's maybe one or two cars per substation, right?
The thing about it is though, there's the high speed track there, but that was me. The thing about it is that you're going to have these guys that go out and this is not necessarily for people just going a little bit over the speed limit. This is particularly for the people that are doing the high speed, asshole driving.
Yeah.
And to try to curb that, be able to get in and then if they do run, I mean, that vehicle is pretty powerful. It can sustain a pursuit there if it needed to. So it's going to be interesting to start seeing the stats that come up on these, especially these aggressive drivers. I was the other day, I was on Highway 85 coming back late in the afternoon, and there was a vehicle that it was an old Saturn, piece of shit Saturn in front of me, and then number one lane traffic just stopped or going really slow. And at some point he had paper license plate, like a temporary, and it was two good dudes in it, and all of a sudden they just cut to the center divide and just shoot down the center divide at like 40-45 miles per hour, passing all the traffic jam. And then just before they get to where the CHP is up there, they either duck back in or they just keep going, and the CHP is off to the right. They're handling the crash, so maybe they didn't even see it. I don't know, but it's going to be great when you have something like this and you can hide in there and go after that. I just, again, it's not really for just, getting people a few miles over the speed limit. It's really to go out there and find the aggressive drivers that now every day I drive back and forth to the peninsula and stuff like that. And I see at least one driver who's driving aggressively. So hopefully.
And this all started back when the first ones were like the Camaros, right? The white Camaros. That was like the first ones that they started with.
I think if I remember right, we had white polar bear Mustangs too. We had a couple of them. Those
So that was
those
back in the 80s or 90s, Mark? When was
yeah,
that?
in the 90s for sure, maybe the 80s. I drove a white polar bear Camaro in 2003, 2 for maybe a moment.
Okay.
Those polar bear vehicles were specifically designed for commercial enforcement to kind of blend in, so the trucks didn't see you as easily. You know, they still had the, they're pretty much all white, slick top, things like that. So these are going to be cool. It's going to be I'm really excited to see it come about. Sean Dury, the commissioner, has made a lot of cool changes. Highway Patrol. So
well, that definitely it definitely looks pretty much undercover. I mean, it's pretty dark.
it's pretty tight. Yeah. So I don't know. Do they have any thing like that at San Jose still, or?
I don't know. I've been gone a while, Mark. So I know they used to have
hang out with all the retired cops.
Yeah, I know they used to have some unmarks. I think they had one that was painted like a taxi cab. It looked like it was a taxi cab, but it was a police car.
Right. All right, let's go. We'll get another one going here. Let's see. We're just gonna do about four or five stories tonight.
Okay.
But I'm kind of trying to find the right story here. So they're not executing people in California anymore, right?
I don't think they are. I think they moved them all to life in prison, I think.
All right. Well, let's check out this story, or more about this. I haven't watched these. Here's the other thing too. I haven't watched a lot of these stories. Steve has watched them because he's the one that sent them to me. I knew about the CHP one, and I wanted to talk about that first because of my own experience as a highway patrol officer. But this is an execution that didn't go quite right, I guess. Steve, is that what we're going to be looking at here?
That's what the executed prisoners legal team is alleging.
Okay, so he was executed, but
he was executed, so he's not complaining anymore. But his legal team is complaining.
Let's watch this.
The target got pushed in, like the target disappeared for Brad Sigmund. It was actually, you can see it was pushed into the wound this time. That was a little bit different.
Last month, Associated Press reporter Jeffrey Collins describing differences of how bullets pierced the skin of Mikhail Mahdi during his firing squad execution compared to the first firing squad execution of Brad Sigmund just a few weeks earlier. Nearly a month later on Thursday, Mahdi's defense team coming forward saying the differences were inhumane.
It's helpful to compare the autopsy and the firing squad execution of Brad Sigmund. What it shows is that his heart was struck directly.
Mahdi's defense team worked with a forensic pathologist who analyzed the autopsy findings and said that instead of 3 bullet wounds on Mahdi, there were only 2 distinct wounds, despite there being a 3-person execution team. The consultant wrote in part, quote, "The entrance wounds were also misplaced in comparison to their expected location. The entrance wounds were at the lowest area of the chest." Mahdi's team filing a notice of information with the Supreme Court to show what they call the unconstitutionality of Mahdi's execution. Watch Fox News reached out to the State Department of Corrections for their response to the allegations. Prison officials believe all 3 bullets hit Mahdi, with 2 of them entering the body in the same spot and following the same path. Mahdi's team disputes that.
So 2 bullets or 2 bullet fragments did pass through that portion of his heart. Really, the locus of the shots was his liver and pancreas. That's the section of his body that was struck directly. So,
according to the State Department of Corrections, this image is a representation of how firing squads are carried out. Volunteers are 15 feet away behind a wall with 3 rifles and 3 live bullets pointed at a target placed directly over the inmate's heart. According to a state Supreme Court ruling, this method is only constitutional due to the promise of only 10 to 15 seconds of pain before the heart is destroyed.
What's significant here is that because Mikhail was not shot directly in the heart, the amount of time that he was conscious and was consciously experiencing that excruciating pain was longer than if he was shot directly in the heart.
Do they still get volunteers, or are people voluntold they got to do this when they sign up for a firing squad?
I believe I saw a news story where they volunteer, the guards volunteer for that particular duty, And being they're only 15 feet away, I would think that the likelihood that two rounds one followed the other is more likely the case than one of the guards entirely missing the intended target. And because he's saying there's only two bullet entries. That would mean that one guy completely missed the entire body at 15 feet away, and the Department of Corrections says no, just two bullets followed the same trajectory.
So a lot of these states, as they do these executions, the issue always comes up about how humane the execution is. In this case, you would think firing squad would be pretty instantaneous. They're talking 15 seconds there, where someone might be alive. Electrocution always seemed pretty brutal, and I'm not saying whether someone deserves it or not. I'm not getting there. I'm just talking about the method. You would think the lethal injection would still be the way, but
well, he was given the opportunity to choose which method he wanted, the lethal injection or the firing squad, and he chose the firing squad rather than the lethal injection.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
they are given the opportunity to choose which method. I think Utah gives them a selection of electrocution or firing squad. Different states give different options.
Oh my God, choosing electrocution.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you ever been to the vet's office, see an animal put to sleep? It seems pretty peaceful. I don't know. You would think it's just a way of shutting, having someone go to sleep, but I don't know enough about it. And the politics of it, people are going to say, well, too bad, he's a murderer. And, but some people, this is a religious issue. It's other aspects of morality get involved.
Right.
And it's
definitely a hot topic.
Yeah, definitely a hot topic. So what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Again, there's other things to worry about in the world. But these are things that a civilized society talks about. So I don't know. I don't think we're going to see it in California. Maybe. I don't think we'll see it again, though, anytime soon. Right?
Well, yeah. The problem is the state was spending a lot of money trying to get our condemned men prisoners executed, but the federal district court is the one that kept overturning it, and we are in a different federal district than Texas and Louisiana, which are pro death penalty. Our district court is anti death penalty, so it's basically we were fighting the federal government or the federal judges.
Oh, okay. Hey, talk about someone fighting the federal government. Let's go back to our favorite topic, January 6th.
Oh, yeah.
Just days ago, the man who caused a deadly crash on Interstate 55 was found not guilty of first-degree murder. Authorities say Shane Woods drove the wrong way on I-55, killing one, injuring another couple. News Channel 20's Monique Davis joins us now to break down how long Woods could spend behind bars. Monique?
That's right. The Sangamon County State's Attorney John Milhiser tells me the most serious charge is aggravated DUI causing a death. Woods could be sentenced up to 14 years behind bars for that charge alone.
Mr. Milhiser says it's not nearly enough for the damage that was caused by Woods. Woods was also charged with reckless homicide and aggravated DUI causing great bodily harm. For great bodily harm, Woods can face up to 12 years.
Wasn't he supposed to be in jail?
Homicide, he can face up to 5 years. Mr. Milhiser says his office made every argument possible and believed the evidence supported first-degree murder.
We do support the decision of the jury. The jury heard the evidence. They came back based on what the law is and said, this is reckless homicide. This defendant is guilty of reckless homicide, which is unintentionally killing another individual when you're acting recklessly.
Mr. Milhiser says this was a tragic case, and Woods' actions defies logic by not knowing driving the wrong way could cause great bodily harm or death.
Mr. Milhiser says he hopes the jury verdict and the guilty verdict bring some sense of closure to the families involved. Reporting in studio, I'm Monique Davis. Back to you.
Thanks, Monique. Coming up at 6, Monique will sit down with Lauren Wegner's family for the first time just days after the verdict was announced. Now, the parents of Lauren Wegner speaking out for the first time just days after learning the man who fatally struck their daughter on Interstate 55 was found not guilty of first-degree murder. Shane Woods drove the wrong way on I-55, found guilty on multiple charges, including reckless homicide and aggravated DUI, causing great bodily harm. News Channel 20's Monique Davis joins us now with their reaction. Monique?
That's right. Evelyn and Bill Wegner tells me it wasn't the verdict they were hoping for, but they finally feel peace after learning the full truth of what happened to their daughter.
I don't know if my daughter ever had a chance to react when, you know, the two cars in front of her. She was probably either singing.
So, the first story didn't even mention it. What's going on here? This guy who was out of jail was pardoned in January 6th. He was a January 6th rioter.
Correct.
So, and now this girl is dead. You know, you have your opinions about who got pardoned or not.
This is the second January 6th pardoned person to kill somebody in a DUI crash.
Wow. Okay. So that's where we're going here.
Yeah. In this case here, apparently a local police officer stopped him for stopped him and smelled alcoholic beverage on him. And he told the officer that he wanted to kill himself. And the officer was walking back to his car. I think he wanted to contact his supervisor, and because he had told him he was a January 6th guy, and the guy deliberately drove off. When the officer walked back to his car, to his patrol car, he drove off and went down and deliberately went down the wrong way on the freeway, and said he wanted to run into a semi truck to kill himself, but he wound up running into this beautiful young lady's vehicle, killing her. And then a highway patrol officer said at the hospital he heard the guy say that he was trying to kill himself.
Well, he missed.
Yeah, he missed.
All right. Not a hero to me, and these January 6 people are heroes to some. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't think he should have been pardoned. First,
nope, whatever. Not at all.
You know, I think if he had been an Antifa member in black, the same people that wanted him pardoned wouldn't agree.
Not at all.
That's just me,
without a doubt.
That's just hypocrisy, as far as I'm concerned. All right, let's go over to I don't know what we're doing here. Chester official shooting lost DoorDash driver. Where's this at?
This is in the state of New York on the East Coast.
Okay.
And
tonight, swift reaction to our story from earlier today. It comes after we shared this exclusive video that appears to show a Chester official shooting a lost DoorDash driver. And some of that reaction includes calls for the official to step down. Our Blaze Gomez brings us this story.
Go! Chester Highway Supervisor John Riley is allegedly seen here in this leaked video taken on his own Ring camera with a firearm strapped to his back and another in his hand.
You go there, operator type.
He fires 3 shots at a lost DoorDash driver who was trying to get away in his car.
Seeing the video, it's chilling.
Chester Supervisor Brandon Holdridge says they haven't heard from the elected official since his arrest on Saturday.
Starhead looking full, the buzz cut. Look at him.
Yeah.
Well, proud home defender. I mean, I don't know. It's just Did the DoorDash driver make any aggressive moves or anything like that?
Not at all. You could see the poor guy. He had gone to he lost cell phone service. He had gone to a couple of houses, and they had doorbell ring cameras, and they show the poor guy. He says, "Hey, look, I just have this food." He has a bag of food. I'm trying to deliver this food, and my phone's I got no cell service. Can you tell me where this address is at? And
we know people do ruses. There are criminal gangs that do ruses and stuff like this. So I'm looking for something else that may provoke this guy for taking the warning shots and shooting in the direction of the guy.
Well, so he tells the guy, just get off my property, and the guy says okay. He gets in his car and he's driving off, and so this guy decides to shoot at him as he's driving off.
I think the Chester guy likes his strawberry wine and maybe had too much that night.
Yeah.
Even though he's now out on bail.
No one saw this coming.
Police say the victim was shot once in the back outside of Riley's house in Chester on Friday and seriously hurt. He was seen just before the shooting going to another house, as seen here, trying to deliver food.
I have a daughter. My phone is broken. Can help.
Holdridge says they're fielding calls for Riley to be fired, but that their hands are tied.
He's an elected official, so that means we have no power to force him to resign.
2 Chester judges have stepped aside from the case, canceling his next court appearance in town until the Orange County DA says it can be moved somewhere else or he's indicted. The victim's family says the dasher remains hospitalized, but is getting better by the day.
I hope that kid owns that guy's house someday if this all turns out to be true as presented here.
Yeah.
My God. I'm sorry. I get it. The things happen, I understand, but this is just a little. I mean, at that point, are you threatened? Are you threatened right now? Let's put in the context as a police officer. Are you threatened right now by the guy pulling away in his car?
No.
Right. The guy's leaving, right? I can understand shooting if the guy is coming up at him, they're coming out like that. I can actually understand it, but what's the point here, man? It's just small little men with their guns that just don't even know. I don't know what this guy's background is, but what the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just sad.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
The victim is lucky to be alive.
Yeah. And people watch too many YouTube videos on guns.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anger.
I don't know. Maybe he plays games. All right. I'm gonna get some. You know what I'm talking about, guys. Everyone, chill out. You know damn well if you're a gun person, you know that's, and we're both gun people. I have guns, but you know that's excessive. So I hope justice finds itself here. If that all turns out to be the way it happened, I hope justice finds itself here. Because if you're a true gun person, you know that's excessive and kind of wussy. So, yeah. Anyway, all right. So relax there, 9-line dudes. It'll be okay. All right, here we go.
And frustration from a San Jose family still reeling after the unprovoked attack by an unhoused man on their 15-year-old son.
The police arrested the suspect yesterday, but the victim and his mom say they spotted the same man walking in their neighborhood this morning. Today.
In California, we say unhoused. We don't say homeless.
Uh-oh. I think I called him homeless.
Oh, it's homeless. It is. It's just that, we make fun of California. See, we're from California. We make fun of it.
Am I gonna get spanked for that?
You might get spanked there, How dare you?
They took their concerns directly to San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan. NBC Bay Area's Mayor Ann Favreau was at that meeting. And
a lot of this, so Steve and I and Scott complained about, we're not some far left. We're just common sense stuff, and there's common sense that's lost on both sides, and this is why there was such a swing to the right, because some of this stuff to the far left is just getting kind of ridiculous, and this is why this race happened between 2.5-3 million votes swinging one way or the other. And there's some stuff that we don't agree with and other things that we do, but this is why elections are won and lost on little things like this, to the far right, to the far left.
Joins us with the story you will only see on NBC Bay Area News.
Garvin Mayor Matt Mahan met with the victim and his family for about 15 minutes this afternoon. The mayor says he's frustrated, too, that the suspect has already been released, and he's calling for the city, county, and state to work together to provide more secure treatment options.
NBC's calling it a homeless crisis, not a unhoused crisis.
15-year-old Tyler Kintz is still recovering after an unhoused man attacked him Friday morning in front of a bakery on Alum Rock Avenue yesterday.
He just socked me as hard as he could. Everything went black.
The man also yelled a gay slur at him and ran off. Tyler's 12-year-old brother, Dylan, says he spotted the suspect a couple hours later.
I called the police straight away. And
Tyler's mother, Michelle, says she took this photo of San Jose police arresting the suspect. Police say the suspect was booked into jail for a hate crime and battery. But this morning, less than 24 hours later, Tyler and his mom say they were in shock when they spotted the same suspect walking down the street.
It's disappointing knowing like that man assaulted me yesterday, called me a slur, and now he's back out here. Ready to terrorize the community once again. Maybe he'll kill somebody next time.
I'm Michelle. Nice to meet you. Today, the frustrated family met with San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan to voice their concerns.
If you attack a 15-year-old on his way to school, you shouldn't be back on the streets 24 hours later. You should be in a secure treatment facility, detoxing, getting medical care, and facing some accountability, but getting a chance to turn your life around.
Notice the mayor shaves like I do, just kind of barely.
Yep. Got that little lumberjack look.
Secure treatment options. The mayor has also proposed a plan to possibly arrest the unhoused if they repeatedly refuse housing.
I proposed a responsibility to shelter policy precisely to prevent situations like this.
Today, Tyler's mother has a black eye from where Tyler knocked into her after he was hit. She says she's worried not just for her own son's safety, but all kids in the community.
Yeah, I'm terrified. What if he does it again, right? What if he not only does this again, but what if it's worse? What if he stabs them?
How come the county official from the previous video didn't run into that guy?
Yeah, exactly.
That would have been a good shoot, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Mayor Mahan says he plans to coordinate a meeting with the victim's family to talk about how police handled the situation. And he also wants the family to share their story with the Santa Clara County supervisors in hopes of adding more secure treatment beds. Marianne Favreau, NBC Bay Area News.
So,
Well,
yeah.
The police did their job, Mark. I don't want to just be pro cop because that's what I used to do for a living. But they obviously they did their job, and they booked them in jail. And then like the mayor says, the county didn't do their job. They let them go.
And it could is it some judge following procedure? Do we know?
I don't know if it's an overcrowding issue or he was released on his own recognizance or he posted bail. They didn't say why he was released, but obviously he should not have been released and to go menace the same people again.
And here we are again, two California born and raised guys here, police officers, and this is where we agree. This is something that shouldn't happen. This again, we're talking about far right, far left. This is the issue that there's no reason why that guy should be out. I mean, he should be in jail for waiting for his prelim, obviously a felony, right? So or maybe if he didn't make bail, or maybe someone bailed him out. Maybe what is his bail? What would his bail be on? This would be a great question for someone who does bail a lot. Why is he out? There's no reason that the kid said there's no reason this guy should be out. Especially there's an issue there. Is there something going on that's not right? Whether he's mentally ill or just an asshole, he's obviously walking around and can do this again. And if someone gets hurt or killed, the people that let him out are going to have a lot to answer for. So this is one of the issues this is what people get frustrated with. They maybe wouldn't normally vote for the way they voted, but they're tired of stuff like this, so they're just fed up. They're willing to give up some other stuff because of stuff like this. They think it's going to get better. And
you have to give some credit to the governor, who is trying to he's trying to get these mental health courts set up and he's trying to get the social workers and the medical staff. He's trying to get it. He's trying, and he is telling these cities. You need to address this problem. You know, he is telling the cities, you need to get rid of these homeless camps and clean up your act. And I'm setting up these mental health courts where they're going to be able to tell these people, look, you either get the mental health you need, or you go to jail.
Yeah,
you know, and that is what's been the problem. You know, these people pushing the shopping carts. If they're on their medication, I used to work in the jail. They are perfectly fine. They're normal. They're stable. They're reasonable. They're taking their medication, but nobody was making sure they take their medication once they're out of custody. And then they wind up on the corner, dirty, filthy, pushing a shopping cart, living under the bridge because nobody's making them take their medication.
Right. And there's people that live in good homes that don't want to take their medication, and then things happen too. So it is an issue. It is when someone is better off being medicated, then that's where the state and the governments have to maybe step in and make a decision for people that don't want to make that decision or making the wrong decision, because to protect the rest of us and protect these young kids out there. Yeah. And it's tough because people worry about their freedom and stuff like that. And it's like, well, you know, it's kind of and
it takes money, Mark. It takes money. And the governor has earmarked money for that. He says he's sick and tired of it. He's earmarked money to set these courts up, to set up the medical staff and the counselors and the people to follow them and make sure they take their medication. And then he's also putting the hammer, you know, the carrot or the hammer to the cities, telling them you need to clean this up.
No, I hope there's some success. There's going to be election in less than 2 years for a governor, so the state's got a lot to think about, and we'll see where that all goes. You know, some people are going to say it's not enough, and they're going to blame COVID and whatever else, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, so we're going to move on to.
Man responsible for a series of road rage attacks.
We remember this guy.
Oh yeah, we
California boy now in Hawaii. Yeah, watch this.
Southern California has been arrested again, this time in Hawaii. Yesterday, Honolulu police arrested 39-year-old Nathaniel Radamak. They say on Wednesday he was speeding past a woman and her daughter in Honolulu. The woman and Radamak exchanged words. He got out of his vehicle, allegedly assaulted them, and then left the scene. Radamak is facing multiple charges, including assault. He was released from prison last summer after serving less than a year of a 5-year sentence.
Wasn't that long
for
ago.
A series of similar attacks.
Why is
here
he out?
in Southern California?
What are they going to do? What's going on?
Man responsible for a series.
The Department of Corrections says that he fulfilled his good behavior, got his time off for good behavior, and was released on parole, and that they did their job.
So, okay, so he's got to have some charges in Hawaii. Now, can CDC California now pull him back and put him back in prison in California? I would
think that he would be in violation of the terms of his release on parole, and that he would be violated and sent back to prison. But I think, well, like I said, I've been out of the loop for a while. But it used to be, I think 90 days was the most a parole officer could give him.
Oh, well, I don't know. We'd have to ask the parole officer that.
Yeah, we'll have to ask.
If you're a retired parole officer, let us know.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on over to, let's see. Yeah, that's a bit. We need to find a retired. I know a couple of retired parole officers. This is something we should find one to come on and talk about it. Okay,
yeah, I'll ask my buddy.
Is there any particular? Well, let's do one more here because we got a lot going on. But
sure.
Is there anyone particular you want me to cover?
Let me give me 1 second here. Let me take a quick peek. Give me 1 second, Mark. Here.
Remember, guys, you can check us out at fugitive.com. And Steve and Scott run Fugitive Watch. And I will put this up here. So you can go find us at fugitive.com, where everything that we're talking about is posted there. And then they'll,
Yeah, this one's kind of interesting. If you scroll down, Mark, to the red graphic that says lawsuit, new civil rights complaint filed against Las Vegas marshals. That's kind of an interesting one.
Okay, we're gonna end on that one, guys. We're gonna do a little quick show here on this one. But we lost Scott, and he's on his vacation. All right, here we go.
Against Las Vegas City Marshals in as many months, this time filed by the ACLU. It says the marshals are operating outside their jurisdiction, making illegal traffic stops. Fox 5's Kim Passoff is looking into this and is here to explain.
Yeah, Joe, this is the new civil rights complaint filed against Las Vegas City Marshals by the ACLU of Nevada. They are representing a man they say was targeted during a violent traffic stop that never should have happened.
He shouldn't have even been stopped in the first place. The city marshals have no authority under law to engage in this type of conduct.
The American Civil Liberties Union of Nevada filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against the city of Las Vegas, alleging unconstitutional enforcement by city marshals. The nonprofit representing Lance Downs Covington, who was stopped for allegedly running a stop sign, then arrested, and they say assaulted by a Las Vegas marshal in April of 2023. According to the ACLU, during the incident, the marshal stopped Downs Covington in his neighborhood near the border of North Las Vegas, drew a handgun, threatened him with a stun gun, and then violently slammed him to the ground, despite Downs Covington complying with all orders. He was taken to jail and then the hospital for injuries from the encounter. The charges against him for allegedly resisting and obstructing were eventually dropped. The ACLU says city marshals are meant to patrol city-owned or city-controlled property like Fremont Street. General traffic enforcement falls outside of their jurisdiction. That is the job of Metro Police. ACLU says this case goes beyond an unlawful stop and arrest. It's about ensuring law enforcement agencies in Nevada operate within the limits of their authority.
But it's a troubling pattern of behavior. And really, it's up to the city council and city leadership to come forward and say why their marshals are operating in this rogue fashion outside of their jurisdictional boundaries.
Well,
and Fox 5 got this statement. The city of Las Vegas is aware.
Did we lose you, Mark? Uh-oh. Okay, everybody stand by. I think Mark might have lost his signal. He'll be back. There, he's back.
Yeah, I was here. I think it went blank on both of us there for a little bit.
Okay.
All I heard was he'll be back. You're telling people Mark will be back. Everybody,
Mark will be back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It just glitched out. So we're talking jurisdiction, and in this case, it appears that these marshals have a very strict jurisdiction, right? Because unlike in California, if you are a peace officer, even though you may be a San Jose police officer or Morgan Hill police officer, Hayward police officer, you can still.
Oh, we glitched again, Mark.
I don't know what's going on with the internet, but
yeah,
Steve, does that sound right though? Does that sound about right though?
Well, you started explaining in California that under 832 PC, a peace officer under 832 PC is a peace officer throughout the state.
Yes.
and can enforce any law, and the question is that sometimes they're designated primary responsibility and secondary responsibility, and for example, with the sheriff's department, our primary responsibility was not traffic. That was the primary responsibility of the highway patrol.
Don't know, man. We keep losing our signal.
Yeah, what I was saying, Mark, is that yes, under 832 PC of the California, that any peace officer can enforce any law, but then it comes down to the primary responsibility and secondary responsibility. For example, in the sheriff's office, when I was with the sheriff's department, our primary responsibility was crime and not traffic. That fell to the highway patrol. So if there was we did not go out and write speeding tickets on the freeway or in unincorporated.
But you could if you wanted.
We could do it if we wanted to, or if we saw a violation. But that was not our primary responsibility. For example, sometimes neighbors in a neighborhood in an unincorporated area, they would complain about a parking problem. And when we say, okay, well, that's a traffic situation, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to refer you to the highway patrol. They'll go over there and they'll handle that parking problem for you, because that's their responsibility, not ours.
But again, in California, anyone can enforce it. Anyone's peace officer can enforce it.
Correct.
This is primarily a jurisdiction issue where they've written up this rule that these particular officers, marshals, whatever they're called.
Yeah, they I believe might be in violation of their internal policies.
We keep losing a signal, bro. So I don't know. I got to research.
They might just be. It appears that they may be in violation of their internal policies about what their primary responsibility is.
Okay, we're gonna call it short, guys. I'm having a signal. I can see the signal here is really weak for some reason, so it might be an internet on my side over here. But thank you for joining. Sorry about this. Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's the weather. We'll figure it out next time.
Okay.
Make sure fugitive.com, stolen 911 for me. Steve, I'll talk to you in a minute.
Okay.